Greetings, everyone. This is Ken Boetcher speaking from the Sturgeon Bay United Methodist Church. It is Wednesday, January 27th, 2010, and we are about to serve our 75th Lumberjack Supper of this congregation. They are done by the men's club of the church each year, and the tradition started back in 1935. And it's been carried on every year, and we understand maybe during World War II there was a year that was missed because there were not many men available. They were off fighting the war. But our fellowship hall right now is filling with the workers who are going to be helping out. We have about 40 to 50 people who will be waiting on tables. We have about 10 cooks in the kitchen. We have dishwashers. We have coffee makers. We have pie cutters. We have people doing carryouts. And so we have a lot of activity here. It takes a lot of personnel, a lot of man hours, as we say, to pull this event off. And we are appreciative of all of the people that pitch in. And one of the beneficiaries of this supper is our Boy Scout troop that is sponsored by our men's club. And the Boy Scouts will be showing up also to help us wait on tables. And we appreciate the energy of the youth and their leaders and the help that they give to us. As I said, this is the 75th anniversary of the Lumberjack Supper. And here on the wall of our fellowship hall, we have a plate from the Door County Advocate from 1981, which was the 46th Lumberjack Supper. And I was reading it a little bit ago, looking at some of the detail, and back in 81, they were using this same facility, although the Lumberjack tradition started in the old church in the corner of Kentucky and 5th Street. It carried over here, and in 83 they claimed they were seating 210 people. We are seating 200 people at one time right now. That seems to help facilitate matters a little bit better. And reading the story of what they were serving, I noticed that they were serving fewer pounds of meat than we are serving today, about 200 pounds less. And I was pondering that, maybe they were thinner back then and didn't expect quite so much in the dinners they were served. We serve about 1,000 pounds of meat. We have 650 pounds of corned beef and 350 pounds of roast pork. And we serve 300 pounds of potatoes, and they were doing, if I recall reading it, 350 pounds of potatoes back then. So we've gone from potatoes to meat. The other things that are about the same quantity as they were serving back then are rutabagas. We have 250 pounds of rutabagas. We have 300 pounds of cabbage. And one other differential, too, was in 1981, they were purchasing their applesauce from one of the local fruit producers. In Sturgeon Bay, they had fruit companies back then. Now we make our own applesauce. In the first week of November, Chris Robertson, a local grower, belongs to our church, donates about 5-6 bushels of apples. And we meet here, the men meet in the church kitchen, and we turn those apples into applesauce, which we freeze, and then we bring out yesterday. They're right here stacked on the table in ice cream buckets, and that is fresh applesauce that we have made and has been frozen, and we will serve that at our dinner today. Also, what we serve we have dessert, we have a variety of pies, and we have beverages to go with the meal. And so it's, we have baked beans. They're around behind the wall here in the second kitchen that we have. We have about 200 pounds of beans cooking right now, and will be warmed up and ready to go by 4:30. And so that's pretty much the extent of the dinner that we serve. And there are people already waiting in the sanctuary of the church where they gather to wait to be called to come into this dining room for dinner. And we technically serve at 4:30. It's 3:38, and there are people out there waiting to be served. And so we'll try to accommodate them by 4:30 or perhaps a little bit earlier. By about 5:30, we will have 100 people sitting waiting to get in. We'll have 200 people in here, 100 or more will be in our church sanctuary waiting to get in here to eat. So it's a big event. It is run very efficiently by a lot of people who have helped to do it year after year. And I'll tell you, without that repetitious help, we could not pull this off. For instance, the people in the kitchen. And they do the corned beef and the roast pork. It came yesterday morning on a truck, and they dealt with it and have cooked it all up. And this morning it was sliced, and it's all ready to go. And you just don't cook 1,000 pounds of meat without knowing what you're doing. So these people are very adept in what they're doing, and they're doing a wonderful job. And there's a lot of enthusiasm. In fact, yesterday we peeled potatoes and rutabagas and cut up cabbage, and you always hope enough people will show up to make the job fun. And there were about 15 people showed up, and in about 2 hours we had the whole thing done. Sometimes it's taken us 3 or 4 because we've had fewer people. But yesterday we had a good group, and the jobs got done very rapidly, and everybody had a lot of fun. We tell stories and sit around a circle and just enjoy each other. So I think you just maybe saw some baked beans or something go through here, possibly, or maybe it was one of the meat dishes. They'll be plugged into the kitchen, and as we prepare to be served, we have 4 people in the kitchen windows dishing out the food. It's put on platters or into bowls, and then we take it to the tables and we serve it family style, so people get all they want to eat. Applesauce is on the table along with the bread and the butter, and so everybody should go away full. If they don't, it's their fault that they didn't eat enough. And with 1,000 pounds of meat, and we expect to serve probably 800 people, that means there's over a pound of meat per person available, along with all the potatoes and gravy and rutabagas and cabbage and baked beans and the things that go with it. So it's a real feast, and people look forward to it each year. In fact, we have people who have come here now for 50 years to this meal. They came as children with their parents, and now they are beyond 50, obviously, and they have been here every year to enjoy this meal. And a large number of the 750 people who will show up tonight are repeaters who've come here every year for many years and really come back because they enjoy it. In essence, this is a tradition, almost more than it is a meal. It's a tradition that we are holding in the community. Okay, I'm standing here with Don Heinrich, who I would consider at least our head cook in the kitchen. He's the man who seems to know what's going on all of the time. And Don, I think, has some cooking experience. Don, tell us a little bit about how you came into this cooking thing.
Well, Uncle Sam, do I need to say more? But we start on Monday bringing everything in from storage. Of course, 90% of this is stored away for a year. And on Tuesday, the meat comes at 6 in the morning, and we put on about 16 kettles of corned beef and probably a dozen roasters with pork in it, and the beans are started, and it's 3 days of good work for the Lord.
And it all comes to this, and you see Louis here dishing up the beans, getting ready for our carry-out room, which is behind us, and we have a heating table in there, and so we take our food items over there that have to be kept warm, and we put them on the heating table so that the carry-out people can select what they would like to take home with them. Potatoes, by the way, come from Roeder Farms, which is a Door County potato operation. And, yep, so these are local potatoes that we are serving here tonight. Makes them extra special.
Josh Van Leeshout.
Josh Van Leesh out, and Josh has seen a paper once in a while. He's the city manager, village manager of Egg Harbor. Is that title? Yep. And he's a part of our church here, and he's one of our pie men. We should have 3 or 4 people here by the time we start. And we have the pies are donated by the ladies of our church. Any comments you want to make on that? Or
They are gorgeous pies. Some of them are absolutely pieces of work in and of themselves. They do, and it shows. It shows.
We have a whole rack of pies back there. Josh has got some cut for the early customers. And after the meal, when people complete eating the main courses, then they are given a tray of pies to look at, and they make their choice as to what kind of pie they would like. This is Howard Lindsay here in the foreground cutting a pie. Now look at those pies there. I mean, somebody really put effort into that so that they would be extra special. And they'll go very fast once they're presented. People will eat those up in a hurry. So we have probably 115 pies that we hope to get in here to enable us to serve 800 people. This is our gravy man right here.
Hello.
And what's your name again?
Doug. Yep.
And Doug is our professional gravy maker each year. And he's got obviously about 2 5-gallon, 6-gallon containers of gravy there.
5 gallons up.
Yep. And he's a chef, and he makes his own roux, which he brings along to start the gravy with, and then he adds whatever ingredients he needs here. The secret ingredients, basically some of the pork drippings and things like that, I believe, that go into it, which are a secret. But his roux is secret. We have no clue what he's got in here. We no clue. He brings us from home. So yeah. Anyway, and the coffee is here. We have 5 urns of coffee going. Dwayne Youngstead.
No, Dwayne Youngstead is out.
He's not, yeah. And suddenly Chuck Smith's name left me, but it's back again. And Chuck Smith are in charge of coffee, and they will keep us supplied along with water. Keep the pitchers full of water, and they put it into the coffee urns out of that big urn, and so they can keep ahead by making coffee in the urns over here. So this will be busy a little bit later when the pots and pans start showing up to be cleaned, and then our cleanup crew will be in here working hard, and our gravy man will hopefully be able to give them a little bit of room. So that's the operation. We call this our lumberjack room. We have this large refrigerator here. We store all of our supplies and that need refrigeration. One of the newest members of our Lumberjack Supper crew is Pastor Joe Mitchell, who was assigned to our church last July. That's July of 2009. And Joe has heard a lot of the stories about the Lumberjack Supper, but he hasn't seen it yet. So I'm interested in, Joe, you telling us what you think is going to happen here tonight.
Well, that is something I'm going to find out. That I've heard a lot about it, as you say, that it's well organized, it's huge, and it feeds people till they want no more. So we're looking forward to enjoying all this time working together and feeding the community.
And we've given Joe he and Mel Henricks, another former pastor here, are going to be seating people tonight. So he's dressed up in his really fine lumberjack looking outfit here with the nice lumberjack caps that were made for us by one of our church members a couple of years ago. Their family that runs a print shop in Green Bay, and I can't think of the name. The Game family. What's the name of their print shop in Green Bay?
Printworks.
Printworks, right. So give them a little plug. And they made these aprons too. If you got a logo of a lumberjack here in my apron, same logo is up here in this cap. They came up with these things a couple different years in a row. And so we are well outfitted to do the job. And years ago, everybody tried to grow beards like I have. See, yeah, he's got one too. See, we qualify as lumberjacks, but we don't. Not everyone doesn't do that any longer. But it's nice if you can add that to the repertoire, I guess, of your get-up.
Please tell us your name, Senor.
Roberto Fink.
And your department.
Our department is, well, we used to be called plate scraper and garbage men. We decided we wanted more respect. So we are now post-event sanitation reclamation enterprise.
Where are your distinguished distinguished clients, compatriots, compadres.
They're here.
Oh, there they are.
But you notice we're all highly degreed,
Yes.
starting with PhD, PC, top plate connoisseur. And the last one, I bring up the rear with my top degree, TPSH. You know what that stands for?
Top plate. I'm not going to say what SH stands for.
The plate stops
We're in a
here.
church.
The plate stops
the plate
here.
stops here.
Yeah. Now we get respect.
How many years have you been doing this, Bob?
3.17.
And before that, in your other life?
My other life?
Yes.
I was a real fuss budget.
Some of the really great help that we have serving this meal are the Boy Scouts. And we have a troop that our men's club sponsors, and we're glad to have our scouts here helping us out. I'm going to get the names of these gentlemen. Your name is?
Thomas Musel.
Cody Melville.
And tell us, what do you think about this big meal? Is it kind of overwhelming, awesome? Well, how would you say it?
It's been pretty fun just helping everyone eat, enjoy their meal.
Well, this is my third year here, so it's pretty much the same to me.
Have you enjoyed it? Is it hard work? It's work, but it's hard work. Is this like community service project for you, or?
You can count these towards community service for Eagle.
Okay, wonderful.
Now, what can you say for yourself? How many years have you been doing this?
Oh, I don't remember. So many years I don't remember.
Are you still the late leader of the church?
I am still
And
the
you
late
still
leader.
work up for the county?
Yes, I
How many
do.
years has that been?
Oh, 17 or 18 now.
Which is harder work, this lumberjack dinner or the work at the courthouse?
I think the work at the courthouse.
This is the hardest working crew of the whole. The dishwashers, they scrub the kettles and the pots and the pans, make them spotless. If you didn't make it this year, perhaps in next year, years to come, you can join us on the last Wednesday of January for the annual Lumberjack Supper.